Good afternoon, dear beloveds. This is White Wolf, and I just want to make you guys understand that there's going to be some announcements. There's going to be a message. There's been something on my heart, and I think that we all need to understand that we need to build each other up and not tear each other down, and be a brother and a sister and not the accuser. But I want to start off this live feed by telling you guys that there are announcements that me and MorningStar are going to be doing paid readings and healings tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time Zone. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be wondrous. So invite all of your friends. Feel free to donate ahead of time. I might even put our PayPals on the post on top of it itself so that maybe you guys can donate ahead of time. And this Wednesday on the 18th of August, I believe, me and John Atlas are going to be doing paid readings and healings as well. And it's going to be really awesome. There's going to be a lot of people there. There's going to be John's people there, our people there. And it's so amazing that we can make these connections, these divine connections, these brothers and sisters that we're extending our hands so that we can be of service to others and to the one. But I also want to get across that we need to stop feeding into negative energy, feeding into the fighting, feeding into the resistance. And we really need to come together as a collective consciousness because we are a group consciousness. Not that we don't follow each other all around, but we are doing things in the eyes of God that has never been seen before in it, and it's because Source allows us to do that. Source allows us to be awesome, to be miraculous, to be magical, to be all the things that we were created to be. So what we have to do, we have to band up together. We have to team up together. We have to be like a well tight-knit unit. We have to be like a basketball team that we should know what we need from one another. And people have to understand the only way to get this message out there, to get the truth out there, is to put your neck out there, is to put yourself out there, is to lay it out all on the line, roll the dice and see where it lands. And don't be afraid of how your truth comes off if it doesn't resonate with someone, or someone doesn't agree with it, or your family doesn't agree with it. Your friends, your coworkers, whoever it may be, may not like what you are saying, but it is your authentic expression. It is how your higher self is directing you. It is you becoming the source being watching itself. You are the source being watching itself, projecting everything that you want, speaking blessings over your life. And I want to tell you guys that every night me and Morningstar give a awesome blessing. We invoke a blessing. We invoke a prayer every night before we go to sleep, so that when we go to sleep, we're sending signals out into the ethers. So as we're sending signals out into the ethers, the other guides, the other creators, the other people that are at our spiritual tool belt are kind of like, okay, it's like the Adjustment Bureau, but they're on our side. They're not against us, okay? It's like that movie with Matt Damon, The Adjustment Bureau. You're kind of letting these archangels, you're letting your Thoth know, you're letting all of them know what you want, what you desire, how you want it to fall into place, and that is how you have an all is well attitude. It's just all about how we have a perspective, how we're asking, how we're prophesizing our future, prophesizing everything that we want in the present, okay? So, but do anything to keep your frequency unfucked with. Don't allow anyone to change the dial down, turn you down. Don't let anyone decompress you. Don't suppress. Let it all out. Let everything out of your being. Do the internal work. Do the work, and just really put yourself out there, and don't be afraid anymore, because that's what they're propelling us into. They're propelling us to not be afraid anymore, to stand in our authority, to stand in our power, to become even, not to become this human being and then sometimes our higher self. They want us to become the higher self, which is the I amness, which is the sentience of your beingness. So what I want you guys to understand is that I got on here today because I wanted to let you guys know about the readings and the healings, but also I feel like sometimes the biggest problem that we have in the collective is that we are the accuser. We are pointing fingers, and we have to understand that we're becoming the human mirror, like I said in my other video the other day. We're reflecting things back to each other. We're becoming being with a lot more wisdom, with a lot more love, and we're sort of balancing it out. That's what we're at right now. Some of you are at fourth density, but some of you who are have more of a maturation within your soul, that are more developed, that quicker, maybe being fast tracked, even maybe people who have been on the path for 20 years or so. What I want you guys to understand is that you're able to understand certain circumstances, understand how to treat people, understand kind of what people want or what they need. So we're trying to teach people. We're trying to be a mentor to people. And sometimes we have to reflect things back to people. And sometimes they don't like that. But sometimes we have to reflect things back to ourselves. Sometimes we have to really be honest with ourselves and be real with ourselves and kind of eat our own shit and not be afraid of that, because that enables you to grow and enables you to breach through something. Because when you're not handling your own shit, when you're not dealing with yourself, how are you ever going to deal with other people? How are you going to treat your partner with dignity and respect and complimenting them if you can't do that with yourself? So it's a perfect balance of like not calling your feet to the carpet necessarily, but having a perfect balance of that. Like, don't beat yourself up to the point where it becomes redundant and irrelevant. Drop it, leave it, let it go, and give it back to God, and mature with it, grow with it. And I'm not saying I'm the best at this, but I've gotten better at it. And I've had someone in my corner who has helped me with it, and I even help her with it. So we have to understand that all of the relationships in our lives, everybody is in our life for a reason. Everybody has a life change for a reason. Everything, God has an infinite number of reasons. Source has an infinite number of ways that you can play with parallel realities. That you can just play with your life and have that childlike wonder and get back to being in a state of imagination, in a state of you playing with a toy, you going in the pool and swimming. Swimming is very releasing. You're releasing toxins out of your body. And everything is happening for a reason right now. Things are going to fall into place. There's going to be a lot of healing, a lot of prosperity, a lot of wealth. But if you are not asking, if you're not wanting, if you're not willing to do the work to have it, so when you get it, that may not be what you want. So, but you have to make sure at this time that you can be happy with where you are in this present moment. If you can't be happy with where you are right now, if you can't be happy with $10 in your wallet, then you're never going to be happy with $10,000 in your wallet. So right now in this moment, our frequency, our state of being, our well-being, our health, the way that we say things, the way that we treat people is very, very important now. So lift your brother and sister up, help your neighbor, be kind to people, because we're sending things back. If we keep sending negative energy, if we keep giving signals to the universe that, I don't like this fucking guy. It's okay that you don't like that fucking guy, but don't curse that guy. Pray for that guy. Tell Source to find a way to bless that guy, even though that his unconsciousness is being projected onto you, doesn't mean that has anything to do with you. It has something to do with him. And everything that's going on in your life has something to do with you. We are our own individualists. We are our own individuation. We have a responsibility to this source being, to ourselves. There's not another person. Like, MorningStar is not responsible for me. Does she take care of me? Does she help me? Does she guide me? Does she love me as my partner? But I am ultimately, my spiritual journey is my spiritual journey. Yes, we have a spiritual journey together, but everybody has a reason to be here, because you incarnated here and you agreed to this. You agreed to all of this. You agreed that you would be the spiritual person, that you would do this and this and that, maybe open a crystal store, whatever it is that you do. You don't have to do what me and Morningstar are necessarily doing. But be happy with where you are. Be happy with who you are. Accept yourself. Love yourself. Forgive yourself. Let go of the past. And let go of seeking out the future and trying to control it, create it, form it into what you want. But form the ball of energy that you want here in the present. Form it right here. Don't try to change it into something that you don't want, but just know what you want and download the dream board within your consciousness. And if you have that dream board in the back of your consciousness, you don't have to wait for the dream board to be here, because then it will start falling into place, because you're sending signals out to the universe of what you really want, of what you want to accomplish. Because you can have a dream board and it could sit over there for like 6 months and you're like, why hasn't this manifest? So download the dream board right now, and just have an all is well attitude, and just have faith and be like, I'm fucking good. I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to worry about how this person feels about me. Worry. Worry is one of the things that keeps us constricted and with constraint. I don't know if I said that word right. I don't know why my higher self said it like that. But I really wanted to get on here because I feel like that's what people are feeling. People are feeling like everybody has to be the accuser. Just because you memorize Bible verses doesn't make you a great religious person and use it as a weapon. We don't need to be the weapon to defend ourselves. We don't have to face those battles. Source faces our battles. Our higher self faces our battles. We don't have to face every single battle. We don't have to respond to everybody. We don't have to respond to what the outside world says about how we should live our lives. Like, the outside world is an afterthought. I'm not saying there's nothing that we can't gain from conventional reality, but really it is our inner world, it is our infinite reality, is that we're trying to make better, make more pure, make more confident, but with grace. It's not a prideful confidence. It's not an egoic confidence. It's a purified ego. It's grace. And if we don't have grace, we don't have anything. If we don't have God's grace, then it means nothing. You know, but we can't take credit for things. And in my spiritual journey, I will say this about myself, I did take credit for it. But I'm not saying that you can't be proud of yourself. That, like, wow, I did this live and I'm proud of myself. But don't take credit for what the archangels, God, does for you, because that's not right. And it's something that I had to own up to. It's something that I had to get out of my system. And I'm always going to say something that's real and authentic and truthful, and some people may not like it. That's okay. Take what resonates and what doesn't resonate. I will have attachment to non-attachment, and I'll go about my day and live my life, because that's who I am, and it's who God created me to be. And this is the path that I was destined for. But it's not a destination, it's a destiny into journeys upon journeys upon journeys upon journeys. It is never at a stopping point. It's never ending, it's ever flowing. It just is what it is. So we can't be a weapon. And just because you wear a robe or you eat vegetables and you do this and that and thinking that you're more spiritual than someone else, that's the accuser. That's the person that is trying to show another person that they are more worthy of being spiritual than the other person. And that, to me, is really, really almost high school. It's almost narcissistic. It's almost like that is what ego is, and that's what most human beings are doing on this planet. They're trying to, like, show that my shoes are better, that my jeans are better, that I eat more vegetables than you, and I wear a robe, and I sing Kumbaya, and I say I'm spiritual. Well, that's all well and good. That's all well and good. I mean, I'm not talking to a specific person, but I'm saying that, and I've talked about this before, that there are an accuser, a finger pointer. But just remember, as you are pointing the finger, there's always being three pointed back at you. So you can project what you want. You can say what you want. You can accuse how many people that you want. But God's source energy knows what level you are at and what you want to do and what you need to work on. So I leave everything up to source to judge me. There is no self-judgment. There is no judgment of other human beings of what they do. That is their journey. And if they feel that is in most resonance, then okay. But it's not an opinionated thing. It is not like I'm saying something because I feel like I have a stance on it. And I've had to get rid of that because I used to like having an opinion about things. And I know in my past I've said, because my higher self's just really commanding, and I say, you got to do this and do that. And I understand that I used to say that, and I still kind of do, but it's just the way my higher self directs the message and how he speaks through this vessel. So, but that's just my authentic expression. It's the creation that comes out. It's just the way that it comes off. It's not just me getting on here, getting behind a camera, feeling like I'm empowered to tell you how to live your life, and that's not whatever I do. It's really because I have sincerity and I want to take time out of my day because I know someone feels this way. And when I do say something, I know that there's energy behind it. And when I say it and someone hears it and it makes them feel comfortable and it makes them feel safe and it makes them understand that they are not alone on this spiritual journey. That breathes life into me. And a lot of times when I go live, it is really about me. It is really about my higher self guiding me and guiding you and teaching you, and I'm teaching myself stuff along the way. So this is just as much for me as it is for you. So what's inside of me is inside of you. And that's what my whole inspiration comes from, you know? I'm teaching myself right now. And sometimes I have to rewatch my lives so I see what my higher self is saying to me. And it's a really beautiful thing. But I got on here because I feel like people use themselves as a weapon to put other people down. They use themselves as a weapon to destroy relationships, to cause arguments, to cause restraint, to cause... There's nothing... It's okay to have a discourse, but when people like use the Bible as a weapon, that is a very negative thing, and it's actually, there's some energy behind that. There's some like, they're feeling like empowered to put someone down because you didn't know all the verses inside of this book, and it makes me more religious than you. And it's just the same thing with spiritual people. And me and MorningStar were having like a conversation about this, laying in our beds at night. And I told her, I'm like, it's basically like borderline high school. It's the accuser. It's like saying you don't do this as good as me, so I'm gonna put you down, and you're not worthy. You're not this, and you're not that. That's bullshit. It's pure horse manure. It's staying in your own lane. Stay in your own lane. Be in your own path. And speak your truth, shed your light, touch people's hearts, be a beacon of light to others' hearts and minds, and just leave it at that. Like, don't always feel like you have to prove something to somebody. And I think that's one thing that I've really learned on this spiritual journey, is that we're not out here to prove to other people who we are. We're out here trying to prove to ourselves who we are. I do believe it's like a living testament to ourselves of how we want to live this life. Do we want to live it joyfully? Do we want to be happy? Do we want to experience ecstasy? Do we want to live heaven, or do we want to live hell? So it's a whole paradox, if you will. Whole life is a whole paradox. The spiritual journey is a whole paradox. It's like all of these things that we thought were true. And it's so funny because we watched this movie called Free Guy, and it has Ryan Reynolds in it. And it was like he was in this video game, he was in the simulation, and he had to do the same thing all over again, kind of like Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. And he would do the same thing over and over. But once he went left when he was supposed to go right, it's like he's like, no, I want a cappuccino. And then when the woman heard that, she was like, what? You want a cappuccino? And then it's like everybody kind of closed in and they were like, what? What? You're spiritual? What? You meditate? Oh, you're building a cult? You know, and it was basically the same like energy of when you awaken and everybody sees you doing what you're doing out, you know, on Facebook, YouTube, BitChute, wherever you're at. And it's crazy. It was like even like the camera went like sideways, and it was like everybody was dialed in on him, and the cop was like, "I'm gonna shoot you," and everybody was like, "What? What are you doing? You're spiritual? You're saying light language? Like what's going on here?" And it's the same thing with and there's a lot of truth, but there's a lot of spiritual things in that movie. So everything in our lives is telling us something, and it's teaching us something. And it's not always a slap on the wrist, but sometimes it could be like um, just watching a movie, and it speaks to you on many different levels. It was like there was another part of the movie where he said, no, there's nothing better than the present here, right now. This moment, right here, right now. There's nothing better than it. It is just beautiful. It is just, the present is an absolute gift. Because when you live just fully present, just with every nanosecond that passes by, and there was like lightning that, there was lightning earlier, and it wasn't even like a 1, 2, 3. It was just like a nanosecond, and the lightning just went like that. It was really amazing. And so, I mean, everything in our life is allowing us to be the human mirror. It's allowing us to be fully present and just basking in the moments of like I was cutting wood. We had a wood pile out in the yard, but there was something therapeutic about doing the yard work. There was a guided meditation there, and she was cleaning the pool. You know, she was getting stuff out of the pool, like she was, you know, doing other things. But it's simple things like that that you can pertain to your spiritual journey. That you can just, there's just joy waiting. And it's all about how we live. And I'm not saying I've always done this on my spiritual journey, but I'm growing into it more and more and more. Just, there was so many years of my life where I was sad, where I was negative towards myself, acting like the things that my mom and dad did were a reflection of me. So I have to have my head down of shame, you know. But there was something that went alive in me, that somebody helped me with that. And I didn't get it. It took me months. But there was just this moment of clarity that I had, and it was like, I was like, I want to experience heaven on earth. I don't want to have to wait to experience heaven on earth. Because heaven is inside of you. It's inside of your heart. And I am only as powerful as the tenderness of my heart. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with saying that. I'm perfectly fine with putting that out in the universe and allowing others to be strong by the tenderness of their heart. And just to do this is amazing. This is my life. This is my job. This is what I do. This is who I am. And I'm White Wolf. And that is so liberating. And we have a dynamic duo, and she's MorningStar. Like, who gets to say that they get to become their superhero, right? And I always like to make this analogy about the Avengers, because I used to dislike these films, right? But it's like when you become awakened, you're becoming Captain America. You're becoming like, and some of us are like a Black Widow. Sometimes some of us had a lot of catalysts and reflections and lessons and challenges and trials, but it's like we're becoming supernatural consciously and allowing it to be as real as we make it. We're allowing it to be as if it's like the WWE wrestlers. They make it as real as they make it. They make it seem like they are generating the illusion that they are going through the table. And that's what we're doing, but we're seeing through that illusion that we don't have to go through life through the table. We don't have to go through the barbed wire. We don't have to make it so hard. We don't have to suffer. And I want you guys to take a moment, and if you have a goblet, if you have a glass of water, this came to me just now, and I was thinking about it like earlier. Take a drink of water, and as you take this drink of water, you're allowing the aquamarine dragons from Neptune to release any toxins, to release anything that is not serving you. And think of this kind of as like a metaphysical toast, if you will. So, take this sip of water, and as you're doing it, you're receiving something. You're receiving like a download from those dragons, from that planet. So, sorry I had to do that. It was needed. So, if we want to feel like millionaires, we have to feel like we can have what a millionaire has. If we want to be prosperous, we have to speak prosperity. If we keep speaking defeat, we're never going to be victorious. If we're always speaking negativity, if we're always speaking from a standpoint that we suck, we lack, we're not doing good enough, I'm never going to get past this, I can't do this and I can't do that, I can't comb my hair correctly. Those are just false narratives. Those are just lies. And it's just the human conditioning. That's all it really is. It's just the human conditioning. That's all it ever was. It was just a post-hallucination of your true nature, of your true wonder, of the true self, of the effortless perfection of the higher self. So, man, it's just awesome that I get to do this, that I get to say this is my job, and to do it with someone that I dearly love with all my heart is just very liberating. It's liberating because you realize that you're not doing what I'm doing right now for myself. It's partly for myself, but I'm really doing this because I want to be of service to others. I want to speak to your heart. I want you to get rid of those thoughts, expand your consciousness, and be a new you, be the updated, revamped version of you, which is God, which is the source being. You are the actor that is appearing on the screen, but you're also the director that's behind the camera. And you're just sort of watching yourself as if you were John Wayne on the horse with the gun and the saddle. And you're embracing the allness of the landscape, of the trees, of the wind, of the beingness of your soul, if you will. But if you guys don't know where our other platforms are at, go to bitchute, MorningStar, and I Am Movement. YouTube, MorningStar, I Am Movement. TikTok, MorningStar967. Instagram, I_M_movement, all lowercase. And go on Divine Ray and check us out. We have a lot of cool content there. And it's MorningStar and White Wolf. I just wanted to let that be known because there was a lot of people on the feed right there. But it's time for us to really try to keep and try to be the peacemaker in the collective. Like, try to be a person who is sort of Switzerland. That's what we're trying to become. You know, it's not, we're not necessarily taking a side, and I'm not really talking about the light and the dark. I'm not talking about that. But I'm just talking about a person that is just easygoing, all is well. I have a great life. I don't need no BS. I'm just me. I am all that I am. I am the light I am. Everything I touch turns to gold, and I drop it, leave it, let it go, give it back to God. And I know for a fact that whatever I confirm what I am is what I am. And I am all that there is. And that's all you have to say. You don't have to say anything else. Just tap into the I am bliss. This is White Wolf signing off, and so it is. I hope you guys check out the live feed that me and Morningstar are going to do tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Readings and healings, paid readings and healings for $33. And also the same thing on Wednesday, on August 18th, at 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Me and John Atlas also paid readings. So thank you guys for watching this live feed. I'm going to post this on Bitchute and YouTube all over the board. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this message, and thank you for all of your time. And God bless you.